Hello, everyone. You are welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adams Show. How are you guys doing? How was your week? How has been the day so far? Hope it's not as hot as it is where you are because here in Akure, man, it's been hot. It's been very, very hot. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are fine. All right, so you're welcome to another episode. And in today's episode, we would be looking at how to find your passion. But before we get into what we have for today, if you are here, if you're live, if you're watching me right now, please put your name, your location in the comment section. You know how we do it normally, right? Put your name, put your location in the comment section. And I'd like to say that I made a little adjustment. So this is my first time. I had to move my webcam from here down there. So if you feel I'm looking down sometimes, like I'm actually like looking to my laptop, but it's I had to like raise my webcam a little bit. So if you are here, if you're watching live, please put your name and your location in the comment section while we wait for others. All right. And if you're watching from Facebook, please do well to click the share button to let as many people that are your friends to come aboard and watch. It would mean so much to me, right? So click the share button if you're watching from Facebook, and if you are on YouTube, well, you could easily just quickly go to your WhatsApp and then like post it on your status while wait for the rest of the crew to come along. So put your name, put your location in the comment section. I'll be waiting before we kick off the class for today. All right. The name, your location, who is live with me right now. I can see someone dropping a like button on Facebook. So please just introduce yourself, your name, your location. Let's know where you're from. All right. I'm waiting. I'm waiting before we kick off today. Before we kick off today. Put your name. Yeah. All right. So we have our first guest. He is Festus Oni from Akure. Mr. Festus. Yeah, Mr. Festus' birthday was some days back. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Festus. Thank you for being a part of the show. Then we have Kilo Keys. Kilo Keys from Kano. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you, Kilo. I don't say it was no wrong though, because I know you're actually a busy person with work, but it means a lot to me, guys, for you guys to show up every week. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the show. Do we have any other person that would like to introduce themselves? If this is your first time of being a part of the show, please let me know so that I can ring a bell for you or like celebrate you. I feel even go naked for you, self. I told us on our wish. Anything is possible. I can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. So let me know where you're from, and soon and very soon we are going to kick off today's class. All right, it's going to be a very short one. I would not spend too much time because I'm actually kind of afraid that the network is not so great today, and I wouldn't want other occurrences to happen again today. All right, so we'll make it as brief as possible. And yeah, please introduce yourself if you are watching right now. I know we are not much, but then introduce yourself. And I said earlier that if you're watching from Facebook, please click the share button so that other people would get to learn from this. Other people would get to learn from this. This is our 11th episode, and today's topic would be how to find your passion. All right, so we have Victoria Kolawole from Lagos. Thank you, Victoria, for being a part of the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How's your daughter? Is it your daughter or son? Her babe? I can go for my handle. Anyway, how's your husband? At least I know that, like, I know your husband. So, how's your husband? How is everything? Thank you for being a part of the show. If you're watching from Facebook, please do well by sharing, um, by clicking on the share button, rather. All right, thank you. Okay, so we have one more minute and we will dive into what we have for today. Any other person trying to introduce themselves? Let me welcome you, especially your a special guest. Good song with the sing for that year, like you are welcome in the name of the Lord. I'm not Sadi single. Anyway, you're welcome. You're welcome to today's show, everyone. All right. So I said today's topic would be how to find your passion. How to find your passion. All right. A lot of us grew up liking a particular thing or were so passionate about a certain thing. At least I know that, like, when it comes to Nigerians, football is their thing. Well, except for me, I think I'm actually one of the rare people in Nigeria that doesn't actually have passion for football. But a lot of people have passion for one thing or the other. And for some people, their passion is temporal, it's for a period of time. For some other people, it's a lifelong thing for them. And for those of you that do not know what your passion is, then we would try to like find ways in which we can dissect the whole passion thingy, and hopefully you get to find your passion before the end of this episode. All right. Um, okay, so according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it says that passion is an extreme interest or wish for doing something such as hobby, activity, etc. I take it again. Passion is an extreme interest in or wish for doing something such as a hobby, activity, and the likes. I think for myself, when I was a kid, one of the things I was very, very passionate about was reading. Like, I loved to read, maybe because my mom was a librarian, and every holiday she would bring books for us. Probably like in a week, we were meant to read like 5 books. So before the end of the holiday, we were expected to have read at least 10 to 20 books, depending on how free we were and how um, and the volume of the book, because some of the books could be very little, some of the books could be very voluminous, that like it would take a very long time for us to read it. I had a passion reading while growing up. Another thing I think I had a passion for growing up was I had a passion for looking for things. Yeah. While growing up, they used to call me Tuli Tuli because I could always search for something that was missing. I had that thing for always like, okay, if something is missing, let me find it out. I always want to look for that particular thing. Another thing that like, I think I had a passion for growing up was I love to write. Then I love to write stories. And that had actually helped me in becoming a scriptwriter at some point in my life. Some people that know me would know me as a scriptwriter and director for stage plays, even though I don't do all those anymore. Maybe I will still come back to it, but then for now, like it's pending. But at a point in my life, I had passion for that. But then we know how Nigeria is and how the situation of the world is, that your passion sometimes cannot feed you. We know that like a lot of people understand that, and that is why most people do not do things that they are passionate about, but they just do things to survive. A lot of people focus on how to survive, but they do not focus on their passion. All right. I'll be looking at a few people that actually went the line of their passion, and they are currently doing exceptionally well, or they did exceptionally well while they were alive. Let me quickly get down to my notes. And yeah, so one of the first people that I have on my list is Bill Gates. Bill Gates started learning how to code at the age of 13. We all know Bill Gates, right? As one of the richest men in the world at a point, was like the number one richest man on earth, right? A few years back, before our dearly beloved Elon Musk and this other dude that owns Amazon took over. But while Bill Gates was little, while he was just a young teenager, he had a passion for coding, right? Unfortunately, as at the time, there were not too many computers in the school then for them to learn how to code. So what did he do? Because he had this passion for wanting to learn how to code, he chose to learn coding during his break time. While every other person was playing football, playing basketball, they were gisting, they were doing one thing or the other, Bill Gates would use his spare time during break time to learn how to code. And that is where his love for computers grew from. And eventually he grew up to build one of the best computers in the world. He's still the CEO of Microsoft, and literally everybody in the world that owns a computer right now has Microsoft's operating system on their system, on their computer rather, right? They have Microsoft Word on their computer. The number two person that followed their passion that I have on my list is Victoria Beckham. A lot of us know Victoria Beckham as David Beckham's wife, the former footballer, English footballer. And also we know Victoria Beckham to be one of the best CEOs in the fashion industry. She has one of the best-selling lingeries. I think I got the spelling right, Abby. Lingerie, Abby. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, I think it should be lingerie. All right, she has one of the best lingeries in the world that is fast selling. However, she did not kick off from selling lingeries. What she started from was she was in a girl band, Spice Girls, right? It was formed in 1994, and that is where she started from. But when she decided to go solo, it became a mess because critics brought her down, and if she had tried continuing on that path, it would have been a mess for her. She realized that, okay, singing is not my passion. And then she stumbled upon fashion designing. She went into it and she brought out the best of herself in the fashion design world. And literally everybody today knows Victoria's Secret. I am sure at one point or the other you have heard the word Victoria's Secret. That is David Beckham's wife's brand, Victoria Beckham, right? She followed her passion and she became better for it. Okay, so who do we have here? We have Mrs. Koko Itemitope from Mowe, Ogun State. Thank you very much for being a part of the show, Ma. I really do appreciate you. You come on the show from time to time to support. I'm grateful. We have Motelade from Lagos also. Good vibes. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the show. All right. So I was citing examples of people that followed their passion in life. The first person I mentioned was Bill Gates. The second person I mentioned was Victoria Beckham that owned Victoria's Secret lingerie. And the third person on my list is Walt Disney. Now, it would actually surprise a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people actually know who Walt Disney is. You must have watched a movie produced by the company, but most people do not know that originally Walt Disney did not even start from drawing cartoons like officially. Yes, he had been drawing as a kid. He probably started by drawing his neighbor's horse, like it was so real. But according to my notes here, Walt Disney was a driver in France during World War One. Like a lot of people would not believe that. He was a driver during World War One, and along the line, he started working as a news editor in a newspaper company. And unfortunately, or should I say, but unfortunately, he was fired. The dude was fired. Like he was fired from the job because they said he lacked imagination. Like, can you imagine? Like the same Walt Disney that we know today. Like he was sacked from his editing job, and good for him, he left the job and he head on to Hollywood, where he started his career as an artist. And even at that, his career did not boom. right, when he started drawing until he started the cartoon series of Mickey Mouse. Before Mickey Mouse, he had done other projects that failed, right? And on the long run, he stumbled upon the Mickey Mouse thing, and today the rest is history. Walt Disney now has one of the best amusement parks in the world, and his company is doing exceptionally well. Yes, he's late, but his legacy lives on. Okay, that word, his legacy lives on, reminds me of a particular past president's wife in Nigeria that was trying to like hail Ojukwu, and she said something that I would not make mention of, but whoever it is that remembers will remember something about something living on. All right then. Okay, so another person I have on the list that followed their passion was J.K. Rowling's. A lot of us would remember J.K. Rowling's as Harry Potter's author, and but not everybody would know that she did not actually start from that point, right? Let me look at my notes. She was a bilingual secretary and researcher. Originally, she was a bilingual secretary and researcher. Unfortunately, she lost her job, right? And she decided to focus on writing because she realized that like writing was a passion. Now, when she wrote Harry Potter, a lot of publishing houses, publishing companies rejected her work. It got to a point that like she became so poor, extremely poor. But there's something about passion you would never want to give up. Yes, at a point you may probably like have some things that like what's what like that bring you down, that bring your morale down. But if you do not give up on the long run, you are most likely to have a sweet ending. Now, right now, Forbes has announced J.K. Rowling as one of the first, no, not one of the first, she's actually the first billionaire writer in the world right now. Like nobody has ever before her gotten to that level, which means that like your passion can take you to what? To a higher pedestal that you want. Okay. All right. So the next thing we'll be looking at, do you have anybody else here? All right. The next thing we would be looking at, I'm sorry, if you see my face looking down, it's because I've changed my webcam position, right, from my laptop up there. So I'll be checking my notes and also be looking at the the um, the webcam. Okay. So how do you find your passion? Yeah, that's the next thing I have on my notes. How do you find your passion? The number one thing I have on my list, number one thing I have on my list is what do you already love doing? It's as simple as that, right? Like, what do you love doing? Do you love to write? Do you love to speak? Do you love to defend people, right? Maybe like you don't like it when someone is bullying another person. That could be your passion. Your passion could be that like on the long run you are cut out to be either a police officer, no, a good police officer, right? A good police officer, or you could just be someone that like defends the poor. You can be a lawyer, right? If you love to speak, you can probably be a motivational speaker. You could be an orator. If you love to write, you can be an author. You can be a script writer. You can be a lot of things, right? If you love to teach people things, maybe just maybe your 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 passion, maybe you on the long run, if it's going to be in line of your career, can be you becoming a teacher. So ask yourself this: what do I love to do? What do I love to do that like I can lose sleep over, I can lose eating over, I can lose every other thing over. But once they bring that thing to your table, your heart goes all out to it. Ask yourself that. What do I love to do? Right? What do you love to do? For me, at the moment, one of the things I love to do, I love to help people. And that is one of the reasons why I created this YouTube channel. At the beginning, I was like, okay, what will this YouTube channel going to be? I wanted to like touch a lot of things, a lot of topics. I just realized that like, dude, you love helping people. So rather than focusing on one particular thing, just do what comes to your heart, what you're passionate about, and go for it. All right, and that is what I am doing right now. I love one other thing I'm passionate about for me personally that I know I love. I love kids. For those of you that do not know, now you know. I love kids. In church, I am actually in the children's department, and I love being with the kids. Yes, they can be handful, but that is what I'm passionate about. I love kids. I love helping people. I love seeing people do better than what or than where they currently are. Like I love it when we are all moving together to a better point, not just that like everybody's stagnant. I cannot stand to see anybody around me being stagnant. I will keep on pushing you. Anybody that knows me personally will know that like if you're not doing better in your life, I would keep on pestering you till I start seeing changes. Now, that is my own passion. Now ask yourself, what do you enjoy doing? What do you do on a very good day? Another thing for me is I love to research. I love doing researches. Once a topic comes to mind, like I can spend hours digging it out. Okay, yeah, I think it still boils down to the Tule Tule part I said earlier. Like they used to tell me that like I love searching for things. Like once I have an interest in a particular thing, I must find the root of it. It is a norm in my life. You could also ask yourself that okay, what do I do? What do I love to do that like even when I am hungry and they tell me that like, yeah, let us go and do this thing, you will stand up. That thing that like even when you are sick and they tell you that like, yeah, it's time to do this thing, that like one kind of special energy will just come into your body, right? That is pointing you towards what your passion is. Okay? Do you understand? That is pointing you towards what your passion is. All right, number two on my list is oh yeah, but I actually mentioned it. What do you spend your time reading and researching about? Right? The first one I said, what do you love doing? Then what do you spend your time reading and researching about? If you see yourself trying to find more information about that particular thing or a particular thing in your life, then that means that like you most likely have a passion for that thing, right? For some people, one of their passion, as I said earlier, most Nigerian men, it is football. Me, Adams Olafimolajide, I am not a football person. I don't know why, but a lot of people are actually passionate about football. But some people's passion have gone beyond just the normal liking for football. They now have taken it to analyzing football matches, analyzing past matches, analyzing present matches, analyzing future matches. Now, those one on the long run, like we would all know that like their passion is being a sports anchor, right? Deliberating on different matches and all of that. If you see yourself spending more time trying to like know, okay, who played what, who played Manchester versus, sorry, how did Manchester versus Everton's match go? Who scored the first goal? Who scored the second goal? At what minute did they score? How was the goal scored? If you see yourself going in depth into such a thing, doing more research beyond the normal that like everybody's doing, like you're taking time to go in depth to find out more, to analyze the match properly, looking for the weak points, the strength, the formation, and everything else, then most likely that might just be your passion. All right, that might just be your passion. Okay, so number three on my list is if you are not sure what your passions are, like really, because for some people they are late bloomers, right? You can actually write out different ideas you feel might be your passion. You write out different ideas that you feel might be your passion. I must say that like it is not necessary. It is not so necessary that like your passion has to be one thing, right? You may not because you may have different things. I want to believe that like for some people they are multi-talented. If you can remember the story in the Bible about the people that God gave talents to, some it is two, some were two, some were five, three, and then the last person was five, right? So you may have passion for just more than one thing. So you might actually be confused like, okay, what is that thing that I'm actually very, very passionate about. It may be more than one thing. Don't go and do yourself that like it has to be one particular thing. I am not here to tell you that like your passion is just one thing, right? So if you're not sure what your passion is, write it down. Write different ideas down. What are the things you like? What are the things that like you see yourself going towards, right? What do you see yourself leaning to? Ask yourself then, put it into writing, list them out, and then put it on a scale of preference. After you've listed them out, put them on a scale of preference. Which one is most important to you? Then followed by what? Followed by what? Okay. By the time you list everything out, you can then start having an inkling of what your true passion is or what your true passions are. I already said that like your passion can actually be much more than one thing. You start having an inkling as to what your passions are. And if it is one, then you have an idea what it is. Okay, do we understand? All right then. Eve, that's number 3 on the list. Then number 4 on my list is ask people. Ask people around you. If you feel you don't know what your passion is or what you're passionate about, ask people like, what do you think my passion is? Right? What do you think my passion is? Okay. It might be that like people will say that like, you still did talk, your own cha 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 cha. It might just be that like your passion is what? To be a comedian, to make people laugh. Like when you enter the room and then like your friends are already laughing, even before. You know, there are some people that like once they enter the room and then somebody else says something, you start looking at that particular person because any reaction from that person is likely to make everybody laugh. But that person doing that thing may not even pay attention to it that like this is what I am doing. But everybody sees it that man, this guy is the life of the party. Once he's here, everywhere changes. If you see that like you're that kind of person, then just maybe you can be a comedian or your passion is being a stand-up, say an MC for events because you know how to make everywhere lively. So once people are trying to like, you are good at this thing, no, why don't you give it a thought? Yeah, that might be like a pointer to what your passion is. Okay. All right. We have somebody here washing our hands. Thank you for being a part of the show. You're not possible decor. Thank you for being a part of the show and washing your hands in today's show. All right. So I was saying that like the fourth part is asking people around you, what do you feel I am good at? They may actually list more than one. I've already mentioned that like your passion may be more than one. So don't limit yourself to it. And then as you grow older, your passion may change. What you have passion for 10 years ago may no longer be what you have passion for right now. As you grow older, what's the word I'm looking for now? As you mature in life, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. As you mature in life, your passion may differ because you may have different purpose at different points in your life. So your passion towards a particular thing might actually what differ over time. Thank you, Balariwa Ogunlayi, for saying very apt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So moving on. What do you do when you find your passion? What do you do when you find your passion? Like, okay, now you found that like you are good at talking. You found that like you are good at analyzing sports. You found that like you're good at taking care of older people. You have this passion for older people to be around them, to take care of their needs. What do you do at that point in time? Now, a lot of the time, you might hear maybe motivational speakers say that like, once you find your passion, go all out, go, leave everything, go. Alaye, see, if you do that kind of thing, or your might probably be your case. Yes, we have people that have exceptions, but for the general masses, and I believe I'm talking to the general masses right now, you do not go all out once you have found what your passion is. You need to first test the waters. You need to test the waters. See, okay, this passion that I have, is it viable? Is it something that like I myself will be comfortable doing on the long run. Imagine if you are a parent, for instance, and then like you all of a sudden found a passion in something, and if that passion would affect your family as a whole, would it be worth going all out for rather? It would not. It would not. Is it not the wise for you to do that kind of thing? So at that point in time, the first thing you need to do is what? Test the waters. You cannot say that like just because you're working in a microfinance bank and then all of a sudden you realize that like your passion is for singing. If you leave the microfinance bank that is paying your monthly salary for something else that you are not yet sure if you can be a superstar, a rock star, then at the end of the day, you are going to go broke. You need to first of all test the waters. How viable is this thing that I am doing? Right? You can probably like decide to let's say you realize that like you're a comedian, right? You could decide to like look for gigs once a month or look for places where you can crack your jokes for free and then like let's see if people actually enjoy what you do, right? If you're the type of person that like you feel like okay your passion is comedy and then all of a sudden like you leave your job and then there's only one joke that you know that you to crack and then nothing else is coming in, you're going to go bankrupt. And most likely in Nigeria, that a lot of people, or probably like in Africa, wherever you are that you're watching me, maybe as you left your job that is paying you, and all of a sudden somebody else has taken over. So when you leave, or so when you realize that like okay, this passion that I have is not able to feed me yet, and you now want to go back to your job, you then realize that like Alaye, there's nothing for you again. Somebody else has already taken your job. Where's the wisdom in that? There's no wisdom in that. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is what? You need to test the waters. See if it is viable for you. All right. Number two on my list is do your research. Research more about your passion. Research more about your passion. What are the people in the industry doing? What is the industry standard? If I want to stand out with this passion of mine, what is the industry standard, right? You need to make that research. Do a lot of research. Do I need to work more on myself? Do I need to build myself? Do I need to get more certifications, right? Do I need to get more exposure? What do I need to do to be better at what I am, to be better at my passion, right? Because more often than not, our passions when we realize them are in a raw state. We need to we need to do more research as to how we can process them from what? From the raw state to the finished product that the world would love. We need to like do more research on them, which takes us to number three. You need to practice, practice, practice. The more you practice your passion, the more you work on it daily, every single day, the better you become at it. All right. I could remember the first time I started this episode, right? That was in December, the last week of December 2020. And I knew I had a passion for this thing. I knew I had a passion for talking, even though I am a very quiet person, but I have a passion for teaching people things I feel will be of benefit to them. If you go back to watch my first episode and then you come down to my 11th episode, which is this one, you would notice that like there are changes and there are improvements. Am I there yet? No, I am not. But imagine if I continue at this between now and the end of the year, there will be a massive, massive improvement, a whole lot of improvement, much more than what I am doing right now. Like you guys will be like, wow, this guy has actually come a very long way. But when I started, I was very, very shy. In fact, before I started this episode, my hands were shaky. I was like, guy, do not mess up today. Do not mess up. Like you need to give these people your best. Do not mess up. And right now I'm already into it. I'm already like dishing it out. Yeah, maybe I'm not used to talking for up to 2 hours yet. Maybe my limit is just 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but I am on the way. I am practicing. I am not backing out. I am not giving up. All right. Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the better you become at what you're doing at the moment. Okay. The more you practice, the more you fine tune your passion. I said earlier that once you realize what your passion is, do not rush into it. Take it what step by step. The first one, test the waters. The second part is what do your research about it. What can you do to become better at what you're doing? And then number three is what practice, practice, practice. All right. So my next point on my list: why do you need to have a passion? Why do you need to have a passion? Because I just ask yourself, like, what's the whole essence of having a passion? The beauty about having a passion, or one of the beauties of having a passion is that it builds your self-confidence. Like you can stand anywhere and you can talk boldly about something you love. And there's something about someone that talks passionately. Everyone is drawn to that person. If you see that somebody is actually passionate about it, even if the person is not making any sense, everybody will be drawn to it. Have you seen where a mad person is demonstrating passionately? Yes, madness is not something that anybody prays for. But when you see a mad person demonstrating, even if it is going to be for a few seconds, you will pay attention to that person. Because at that point in time, his demonstration is done with what? With passion. And if you also, in your own field, wherever you find yourself, you realize what your passion is, it builds what? Your self-confidence. It builds your self-confidence. All right. Number two on my list is that you have no regrets at the end of your stay on earth. When you follow your passion, right? By the time you're old, you feel fulfilled. You do not have any regrets whatsoever. That's the beauty about having a passion. Because if you're passionate about something, and then when you're old, you reminisce, you remember how the things that you did in the past and how passionate you were, you'll be proud of yourself. You'll be very, very proud of yourself. You would have no regrets. You would tell yourself that yes, I lived a purposeful life. I did well in my time. Right? For those of you that are watching and are Christians, you guys remember the part in the Bible where Paul was saying that he has run the race, he has done his part, he did everything that he did, how passionately. And at the end of the day, he could look back and tell himself that dude, you don't try. You have done well. You have done what you have been called to do. And as such, you have no regrets in life. And that's the beauty about it. You would not have any regrets whatsoever. All right. Another thing about passion, about having passion is that your level of stress is relieved, because when you're doing what you're passionate about, there's this joy, there's this happiness that comes from within that you cannot even explain, because you know that that is where you ought to be. That is what you ought to be doing part time. And that's the beauty about passion. You feel happy, and when you're happy, your stress level does what? It goes down. It goes all the way what? Down. That's the beauty about having a passion, right? It goes all the way down. All right. My last on the list, just a moment. I just pressed something I'm not supposed to press. My last on the list is personal growth. The more you work on your passion, the better you become. You grow, you are much more matured in a particular area, that particular thing that this thing. And one thing I realized about following passion again is that as you're following a particular passion, a new passion emerges that is complementary to the original passion that you have. When you pursue that passion, right? You may have a passion, and then if you're not doing anything about it, it becomes redundant. But when you start to pursue a particular passion, you then realize that a new passion is born out of the original passion. It's just like the story of the people that have been given the talent, when they traded the talent, they were able to get double of what they had. If you work on your talent, so if you work on your passion rather, and you pursue it, over time you'll realize that like something else is born out of that original passion that you have. All right. And on this note, I have come to the end of my lecture. I already said that like it's going to be something really, really short. I'm not going to take all the time in the world. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things about passion. If you're watching me from Facebook, I said earlier, please do click on the share button. Let more people get to learn about this, right? And if you're watching from YouTube, thank you for always being a part of the show. And please do share this series with a lot of people out there, right? This show would most likely be, or not most likely, it's actually going to benefit someone somewhere, and you would actually be doing that person a lot of good if you can share this video or this link with them. Let it be a blessing to someone out there. All right. So on this note, if anybody has any question to ask me, please do ask. We have 3 people live right now. Yes, in our small, but then this is like we just started a church. We are still little, and I appreciate every one of you guys that take out time to watch this to the very end. But if you have any question about your passion, please put it in the comment section. I would wait for the next 1-2 minutes, and we would call it a day afterwards. If you have a question, please put it in the comment section. And likewise, if you feel that like you have any topic you would like me to touch on, please send me a message on my WhatsApp, or you can drop a message for me on my email address for feedback, cooladams25@yahoo.com. I've been using this particular email for the past 21 years. Yes, I got this email in the year 2000, and this is 2021. I've been using this email for the past 21 years. So if you have any question for me, feedback, please send me a message to cooladams25@yahoo.com. And you can also join our Telegram channel at t.me/the Otumba Adams Show. And you'll be able to get updates on the show. All right, so if you have any question about how to find your passion, please drop it. I'm still waiting for you. All right, before we call it a day. If you have any question, I await your question. Does anybody have any question for me before we call it a day? Do you have a question for me? What are you passionate about, my people? What are you very, very passionate about? All right, so if you have a question for me, please let me have it. I'm waiting. Looking at the comment section now and waiting for anybody that has any question for me. We have 1 more minute. If nobody has a question, we would call it a day. So I'm waiting. If you have any question, please put it in the comment section, and I will be willing to answer. But if you do not have a question, or if you are shy to post a question, then you can reach out to me either via Messenger, WhatsApp, or my email address. And I would get back to you and respond to your question as soon as possible. All right, then, if you do not have any question, thank you all for being a part of this show. It has been an honor to have been able to impact into your lives one way or the other. No matter how minute it is, I would want to believe that you have actually learned something. Thank you so very much for being a part of this show. My name still remains and would always be Adams Olufemi Olajide. And see you again this weekend. I would probably be having a guest what's the word now? Yeah, we're gonna have a guest. Yes, I was thinking of you know how they used to say it in church now, guest minister. Yeah, we're gonna have a guest on either Saturday or Sunday. I'm yet to finalize the time that we're having the program. Is gonna be health related, and it's gonna be with a medical doctor. Now we're still trying to like work out the topic and also the time we will be having the program, because you know how doctors can be. They can We're very, very busy. All right, then. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, see you this weekend, and bye-bye. Bye, bye, bye.